Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Peculiar Women Podcast, where we talk truth to the world's most peculiar women. I'm your host, Serina Stewart, and on all social media platforms, you guys know you can find me at Serina's Lens, so please join me there. And please, if you're watching on YouTube, take a moment to like the video, and if you're listening on audio, please make sure you are following us so that you'll know when we're dropping new videos or new content. I don't have Mo in the building. We miss Mo, our moderator, but I do have two fabulous queens in the house as a co-host, and it's Miyoshi and Miss Quien. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
And I'm excited to have them here. Both of them are powerhouses. We talked about it last week. I was like, I wonder what it's going to be like with the both of them here. So I'm excited to have them here. In our last two episodes, we talked about, the very last one, we talked about cultivating purposeful relationships. But for the whole month, we were talking about relationships and what it means and what it means to you and how it serves you as a person as you get yourself together to do what you're called to do on the earth. So now we're just going to, did you want to, our last co-host was Miyoshi when we were talking about cultivating purposeful relationships. But did you have anything that you wanted to talk about from that particular episode that you didn't know? Okay, so that's fine. We'll just go into today's episode. So today's topic is loyalty. And I'm going to give a basic definition of it. The basic definition of loyalty is unswerving allegiance. But it also includes feelings of support and duty towards someone or something. A primary virtue central to moral principles from which other virtues can be derived. So basically it means your loyalty is going to be based on your own principles and morals. Also, a variation of loyalty comes when specifying types of relationships. So let's get into loyalty as it relates to family, marriage, women friendships, work, and church. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to all of it, but let's start from the top. Let's just start with family first. So loyalty as it relates to family. Do you guys want to go ahead and jump in on that? And I'll just kind of follow through.
I'll say that it can be complicated because of people's different viewpoints. And the moral compasses as it relates to loyalty. Because some people consider it loyal, like if you never tell them when they're wrong or if you support them no matter what. But according to my moral compass, that's not loyalty.
Right.
Loyalty and love includes telling you when you're wrong and not supporting you like that in that manner when you're right. So, I mean, the subject of family alone.
Yeah, because with family, it doesn't matter what you think. They're going to always see you as little whoever or whatever. And if they're older, they're going to always use that authority. And, they go try to trump you.
Oh, yeah.
For even though you're older and you have a reason behind it, you're not going to be able to tell your auntie this or that.
Yeah, or even with a cousin. We blood.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely.
I look at it the same way you guys look at it, right? But there's instances, and I'll take my family as an example, that I'm the only girl with 4 boys. And the boys feel like that because I make my children a priority, that I'm not being loyal to family.
Wow.
And now I have several conversations with the baby boy because now he's starting to see things in a different light. And he wants to make sacrifices because sometimes your loyalty will cause you to make sacrifices, right?
Yeah.
And he would make sacrifices and it will cost him because sometimes your loyalty will cost you something and it will cost him in these sacrifices, right? And I used to advise him, don't do that in the name of the loyalty to the family.
To the family.
Because the same family that you're loyal to may not be loyal to you.
But I feel like family, I was taught. But it's so many things that are unspoken that you learn with family, because that's the first people you're around. Those are the first ones that, have that major influence.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding was, family comes before everything. And if it's not family, family is first, I would say that.
Right.
Family is first. They're the first ones, whatever they say, it goes because it's right initially. I'm not talking about after experience.
Right.
But what they say goes. They're the authority. They know it. And they should automatically think well of you and want you to make it. You know what I'm saying? Want you to do better even than them.
Right.
And that was my assumption, that my family, they love me, they're thinking the best of me, and they're going to push me forward in what's best for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I get all my teaching and learning from.
Mm-hmm.
I learned quickly that that's not the case,
Right.
but I still had the mindset of, well, it's my family. They love me. So I know they're not going to tell me wrong. I know they're not going to do this and that. So my loyalty to my family was paramount. First, everything. You know what I'm saying? Or I was wrong. Or if you said this or that, okay, it must be me. I'm looking at it wrong. Clearly, you're older than me and you're my family. That was my assumption. And I'm not saying that's not true with everybody's family, because some people's family is like that.
Right.
I'm just saying that that's not what I necessarily experienced. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like every man for themselves ended up being. So, yeah. So for family, my loyalty, I still keep that with me. Like, if I'm loyal to a fault. Like, it's just going to take something really harsh for you to do for me to finally say, okay, you ain't for me. And once I do that, that it is not really coming. You're not coming back to it. It's no coming back from that usually, because I always take so much. You know what I'm saying? It takes so much for me to get there that you're not going to be able to come back. So I'm not saying that loyalty is good. It is a little bit toxic.
Like she said, it can cost you.
Yeah.
It costs. Yeah, it costs.
It can cost you.
And like you say, the loyalty to a fault. I think we've all experienced that until we realize that some of the teachings that we were taught was really wrong, but we thought it was right. And for some people, that's devastating.
Yeah, because you always learn it in a bad situation.
Right.
There's no other way to learn that. Not really. Unless it's a situation that's compromising and you're toward, and then you got to come back, oh, that wasn't right.
I was thinking about when you said that, when we were talking about loyalty and we talked about the topic, right? That was what came to me, was being loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, why does it take us to be loyal to a fault for us to learn?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Because I automatically assume your definition of loyalty is my definition of loyalty.
Yeah.
And I've learned that you can't do that. It's not true. Everybody's thought process is different. Everybody grew up different. Yeah. So, I had to learn it the same way.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, like in some families, helping a person lie is being loyal.
It's not telling the truth. Yeah,
right.
Not telling them the truth.
Right. So you can imagine I was a black sheep because I wasn't lying for nobody. You better not do now crime in front of me because I'm telling.
Yeah. And as I sit here, I almost said, maybe we need to go back to the definition of loyalty, because I don't know if I'm loyal like that to other people. I'm loyal to me.
There we go. Come on, Quien.
And so I was sitting there, I was like, I'm loyal to me. I'm loyal to
allegiance.
me and my purpose and how others relate to that.
How do you fit
I've learned to get that. I have learned to get that.
To myself.
To me.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, Quien, take us there.
I mean, that's just what I was thinking as y'all were talking, because I was like, I can't relate to being loyal to a fault, because when it gets to a point, and I had to grow here, and I tend, once I grow, I really do heal to the point where I forget the feelings of the past. So I don't remember what it feels like to be loyal to a fault to somebody, because now I can't even fathom that. Because once you get to a point where you start to affect my loyalty to you starts to affect me negatively, I cut that off.
Yeah.
And I don't think I should be considered disloyal to somebody because what they were doing affected me. But I am comfortable saying that I'm more loyal to me than anybody else.
How long did it take you to get there, though?
Years. We were talking about age now, and I started this in my 40s, mid 40s at that, because it was part of my self-love journey. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what love meant. I do know that what people were calling it, it didn't feel good to me. So when I started my self-love journey and I really began to love me and to see, we talked about this last time too, I began to see people be like, oh, I have such a big heart, and people take advantage of that. I was like, I don't want that.
Right.
And why does that keep happening? And so as I formulated a plan and what I thought for myself.
Not a plan.
Yeah, I had to, because I'm like, how am I going to avoid this? And part of my journey is learning to release control. Okay. So, because I'll
That's
try to,
another
I'm going to
topic.
make sure I ain't going to do this again. So in that, I begin to say, you know what? What works for me is being loyal to me instead of trying to control what everybody else does. What feels good to me and my purpose and what's going to align me. And that way, that's how I dole out loyalty. And
Absolutely.
Because it makes you rigid. Like when you're like, I'm not doing that, or that's not happening to me. You get rigid. You set up boundaries, but then you're trapped in your boundary.
Yeah.
So then you do have to let go and then just live life, because you won't be living life like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it caused me to see love and sacrifice differently, which affects loyalty. When it comes to people, sometimes your loyalty to them, they judge it by how much you're willing to sacrifice yourself.
That's true.
And I'm not willing.
Unwilling.
I'm unwilling.
Unwilling. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I love me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the example people give regarding the plane all the time. They always tell you, if the mask come down, take care of yourself before you take care of anybody else. And for me, self-love and not sacrificing myself to a fault means I take care of myself first so that I can be good to other people. And some people don't understand that, because we've been taught, especially in religion, because of what Jesus did for us, we've been taught sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
But I had an example where a coworker let us read an email that she had gotten, and she was offended by it. I read it totally differently but I didn't want to, discount her feelings. But it came to me right then. You read it differently because what she's offended by, that trigger, you've healed from that, and you don't have that history with that person. So, she received it differently. And so it brought me back to why we should heal and stuff and really learn how to prioritize loyalty and sacrifice and all that stuff. So we won't have all this stuff built up to where we're reacting to outside forces in a way that we wouldn't react if we had not dealt with those issues.
Yeah. It's if I'm not healed, then I can't assume good intent with you at all.
At all.
And if I'm not healed, then I'm not going to, first of all, I lack patience. I lack, I'm not giving you what you need.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm only looking at myself.
and
I'm on the defense.
Yeah, you're on the defense.
You
It's
immediately on the defense.
If you had surgery on your arm right now, and I laughed and reached over, girl, and hit you, even though I didn't mean anything by it, it's gonna hurt you.
It's gonna hurt.
Because you're wounded right there. But once you heal, and you'll be able to even react differently. Because even if you knew I didn't mean it, that hurt.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you can't do anything about that. But it all ties back to me being loyal to me and making sure that I've taken care of me so that I can, be able to prioritize loyalty and sacrifice to everybody else, including family. Because that's been a big issue lately, because a lot of people are coming to terms and we're learning language to heal and revisit our past and the things that affected us. And sometimes family have done some really horrible things to us.
And it hurts
but that
the worst.
loyalty, they like, that's still your mama, that's still your daddy, that's still your
But
uncle.
it doesn't change.
That loyalty, that and that's manipulation. If
It is
Absolutely.
manipulation. And it hurts the worst. But yeah, they will put that on you. This is your mother, this is your father, or this is whomever.
Yeah.
And then you feel that sense of like, oh my God, okay.
Right.
And then they'll throw that, I have to be, honorable, or I have to honor. Yeah, but you also cannot go around and pick fights and be messy. Because one thing about old folk, If you're not full of wisdom, you're going to be full of mess.
Come on.
You're going
to be full of mess. And then it'll stir up the young and get them on the wrong path.
Yeah.
And so as you get older, you should make a point to, hey, what kind of a woman am I going to be? Am I going to be full of wisdom? Am I going to give to the generation below, below me to help them? Or am I going to be a helping hand, or am I going to hinder them? Or am I going to be ugly to them like other women were ugly to me?
And require that people be disloyal to themselves in order to be loyal to me.
To you, yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, because a lot of sacrifice is deny yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But
which has its place.
Which has its place for some things, but it can be taken out of context.
Yeah.
It does not mean deny yourself in a sense. Deny yourself is for the flesh that will stop you from doing righteous deeds, good deeds, help you. Not necessarily that's going to put you in a place where you self-deprecating.
And your doormat.
Right. Yeah, it's not separate self-deprecating, but it will challenge your flesh in a way that actually will benefit you and make you more holy, more righteous in those sense. But we take that, something that's biblical and something that's divine, and try to apply it in the world, and it just won't work. It does not work that way.
It doesn't. I was thinking about, as you guys were talking, I was thinking about, when you said about sacrifice, that, because we were taught about Jesus sacrificing, because we're Christians, we're supposed to be more like Christ, and we're supposed to sacrifice. But I thought about it when Jesus say, they call my name, they say all these good things about me, but their heart is far from me.
It's far from me.
And so he was showing us how we have to recognize what true loyalty is. Because then it ties into the condition of your heart. What do your heart look like? Because you can say all day, hey, Miyosh, how you doing, girl? I love you. But if your deeds don't show that you love me, which ties into loyalty, because you got to love somebody to be loyal.
And it will eventually show through your deeds. Like, Absolutely. You don't know immediately sometimes unless you got a great sense of discernment, which, thank you, Jesus, I do now, because I've been through some things, you've been through some things. But only God know the heart of man.
Absolutely.
But if you look long enough, you'll hear it, because they'll say it, and you'll see those deeds come up. And you cannot say that you love me if you don't do this. Even Jesus said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments.
Yes.
So if you love me, and if you can't keep it, you gonna dang sure try. Or like, Lord, help me. You the one with the power. That's how you got the power. Help me to do. Help me to be more like you. Help me to do this. You know what I mean? But your heart posture will show, even with friendships, even in family, even with your loyalty. Even the Bible says, and this is specifically with loyalty, don't cast your pearls before swine. So if you're continuing to be that great person, not fluffing yourself up, let's be real. We're not perfect.
Right.
And we do some stuff too, so we retaliatory sometimes. But
Absolutely.
if we really are, we know that we are doing well, and this person is constantly giving, I'm not going to continue to cast my pearls towards swine. Like, you don't recognize it, you don't see it, or you don't receive it. I'm not mad at you, but I'm just going to be a little bit more wise in how I give, you know what I mean, of myself.
Yeah.
And I don't think he requires us to be foolish, and I think that, like Quinn said, being loyal to yourself first, right? But I tend to disagree. I think in order for me to be loyal to myself, I got to first be loyal to him.
That's a given.
I mean, for some people, that's a given.
Oh, yeah.
But for some of our audience, it may not even be a given. Because they may still be being loyal to a lie and to a fault. But in order for me to learn to be loyal to myself, then I got to first be loyal to him.
Yeah.
And being loyal to him is not being perfect.
Yeah. I see this going hand in hand. This is in my mind. This is the way I see it. If I'm loyal loyal to me first, I'm loyal to everything that supports my purpose, which is God driven.
Which is God driven,
right? There are people who think that they're loyal to God, but because they don't have a loyalty to themselves, they're doing everything for everybody else, and they're unwell because they have this loyalty to God. That's how people get. We part of our conversation too is loyalty to church. That's how people get abused in church.
Yeah,
they have no loyalty to themselves. They doing everything that everybody else is telling them in the name of being loyal to God. And they're dying, literally, health-wise, spiritually, because they have no loyalty to themselves. So I want to paint the right picture.
Right.
I never, ever mean put yourself before God. Ever. People. Okay, for those who don't know, because you are absolutely right. Some people would be like, oh, well, it's me first. No. Your loyalty to yourself first will cause you to seek him. Okay, and not people.
Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes we do this instead of this.
I want to put a caveat with what you're saying, because on this show, we're speaking, the reason why it's called Peculiar Women is because we're talking about people, okay, because first of all, it means loyalty. It means a royal priesthood chosen by God. So this particular show is under the assumption that we're speaking to Christ-like women who are saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, or trying to get, you're at least saved, you know? So we're not speaking from a flesh perspective.
Amen.
We're not speaking because at the end of the day, when you're saying, because to be honest, it is satanic when you say, because I'm going to tell y'all the truth. The truth of the matter is a satanic phrase or theme is do what thou wilt. And I learned that do what thou wilt is satanic, because if you do what you will in your flesh and you're not saved and you're not submitted to God, you will go down a pathway of your lust, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and you will be led down a path and a journey that's going to take you straight to hell, because within us, there is no good thing.
Right.
It is Christ that makes us well. It's no accountability. And if you're your own God, then you will do what you want, and you will be like all that I just mentioned. That will be, you are your Lord. You are your God. And you'll do, which is really Satan, because he's Lord over that flesh. You'll lie to yourself. You'll tell yourself anything. It's so many examples in the Bible of the wrong way to do it.
Right.
And the wrong way is to follow you. But she's coming from a perspective of, as I submit to God, as I am focused on God, as I'm saved, as God leads me and guides me and gives me wisdom in the situation I'm in, I have to learn, hey, let me step back. Let me ask God, what is good for me? Because God is out for you. And it's a lot of times like you said, we've been abused. There's so much abuse going on. Now you see it being exposed. And God, I know that's God-given. Yeah, and it's given a name. That's God-given, because we have been so duped because of our love for God. Opportunists will look at that as a time to take advantage of your love for God and stuff like that. Yeah, and they will try to capitalize on that. But God is so good that he'll step back. I remember it was 2007. I love these people because I felt like God sent them. But if it hadn't been for my salvation and my relationship with God, because everything I was doing was as unto him. If that wasn't straight, then I would have been following man. They'd have been my idol. They'd have been, So I learned the hard way in 2007 when God sent me. But he said, who told you to do that? Did you ask me? I was like, but I assumed it was you, because this is your manservant. And when people always got to tell you who they are, I am this, I am the set this, and not listen, that's already letting you know, first of all, God got to lead me there. Right. And if God is showing me something, then let God do it. You know what I'm saying? Let God say who you are. You don't have to overly, let me just be quiet, because I'll fool around and say something I ain't supposed to say. But if it had not been for my initial love for God and dedication to God, I assumed that my servanthood was to God and people that were sent by God. So, y'all were sent by God. I'm going to just do it because clearly you know more than me. But that wasn't the case. Right. Everything you do, you got to take it to God. You got to take it to him. You got to ask him, am I in your will or are they in your will? Let me read for myself. Let me see this for myself. So that every perspective you come from is what God is saying.
And that's what I want to point out too, because me in my loyalty to me, it's also in conflict it comes to me first. We talked about this too. Like if something offends me, I don't go to that person first. I check me first before I go to them, because I'm like, wait a minute. Why is this bothering me? So it's not just being loyalty to me, like in all the good situations, me first. No, it's me first too when it comes to accountability. And that's the part that people don't want.
And I think, like, for me, I was reading.
It takes maturity, though.
Baby. Absolutely. See, this for the mature. So I was reading in 2 Corinthians, and I can't remember the chapter, but y'all, Paul was talking about loyalty, right? And he broke it down and he explained, I think it was probably chapter 9, don't quote me, but he was explaining what the true loyalty in a believer look like. Loyalty to God. Loyalty to Christ. Loyalty to the gospel. But most of all, loyalty to truth.
Truth. Truth
and
will tear you
that's
from
my
limb to
moral
limb.
compass. That's my moral compass. And that's what keeps the balance. Because our loyalty has to be balanced. And I'm not going to be loyal to any and everything. I'm going to try the spirit by the spirit and see if it is of him before I cast my pearls or do anything. And I just believe that if we keep first things first, and we keep him first. We'll make wiser decisions, and we won't find ourselves being loyal to a lie or loyal to a fault or loyal to whatever that's tearing us down, but we holding on in the name of Jesus. And he ain't nowhere to be found.
Or even those just toxic friends. I mean, or toxic people that you just, we grew up, I've known them so long, they didn't mean this, and it takes so much convincing to allow for you to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be blinded by that. You can be blinded by it. So we talking about family. We just kind of moved into friendships right there. But let's talk about marriage too. Because in my opinion, marriage should supersede family. Because we're talking about covenant now. Covenant, that's a different level of loyalty. It's a different level of loyalty that you add God in, you get witnesses to, you know what I'm saying? And you make promises. So that's a level of loyalty that takes priority. What do you guys think?
I have a blended family. And we have the 2 up here and the 2 down here, right? And because my children were in the trenches with me, I have to check my loyalty scale because my husband is first. My loyalty should lie with him. I have a different loyalty with the kids, but my loyalty lies with him. So which means I'm not going to lie to my husband, deceive my husband, or do anything in the name of my loyalty to my children.
Does it have to be separate? Like, when does it, and I'm asking you because this is your situation, when does it clash? Like, does it have to clash? Does it have to be like him, kids? Like, when does it clash to where you have to choose him over your children?
It clashes when certain situations that you don't necessarily agree with.
Okay.
Like I have the tendency of overspending.
Okay.
With the children.
Okay.
Bailing the children out. And then it's like, but who's gonna help them, And he's looking at me like, when you gonna let them learn?
Yeah. But is that loyalty though?
Well,
like, to me, I don't see that as you choosing loyalty to your husband over your children. Y'all are getting together, parenting, and you overspending on behalf of your children is not necessarily loyalty to him. And I guess, that's why I was like, well, okay, so what is loyalty again? But it's individual and subjective.
Unswerving allegiance.
Yeah, so I guess your view of allegiance might not be my view of allegiance. Okay. And you spoiling your babies and taking care of them real good.
Real good. And I have to give an account to that because now he's looking like, well, where's your allegiance? Are you is it my word or is it what they need? And so sometimes I I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But my allegiance is to my husband and to what we're building. And sometimes it'd be like, but my kids.
Yeah.
I could see us talking about this in another because when you've been divorced and I've been divorced, I think all of us up here have been divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And you have that allegiance because for me, I had an unswerving allegiance to my first husband because that's what I was supposed to have. And if I say that I'm going to do something, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to do. Until it got to a point.
But I think that's a part of allegiance too, is keeping your word. I mean, loyalty is keeping your word.
When I say to a fault, I just feel like we have to break that down sometime later.
Yes.
Because everything we just said still applies to that.
Yeah.
Even though it's covenant, you know what I'm saying? Am I going to let you do anything to me that will take me out?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because we promised this, it's a covenant. But even the Bible says, Jesus said, he was like, I don't like divorce.
Right.
But because of how evil y'all are, Moses had to grant it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the evilness of your heart.
That's not funny, but it just hit me like that.
Say it again.
Yeah, he did. He hated. And because it's a promise. And, with Christ, look what he did. He didn't have to do, but he hates it because it's a loyalty. It's a vow, But because of how evil they were, he was great. But anyway, like I said, we're not going to go there.
Okay.
But
Because I want to say something about that. Because it's the way that I think, okay?
We're different.
So you're loyal to your husband, right? Oh,
yes.
Of course now, but
yes.
the situation is undying
very,
loyalty.
Very.
So in my head,
even in my mind,
my loyalty to me would not allow me to continue to be loyalty to something or someone that would destroy me. Okay?
But that's loyal to the fault.
So in my head, and this is probably why I'm single now. No, it's not, but it's probably why I'm still single now. In me speaking to someone that I have undying loyalty to, I would be like, but your loyalty to me
is non-existent.
Should cause you to not want to hurt me. So if that's happening, I'm no longer loyal.
Yeah.
My loyalty to me gonna clip that off. Like loyal. That's why I started to wonder, am I loyal at all? Because when I tell you I can be totally loyal 1 minute, but if it crosses me and my purpose, I will clip that right there like it never was.
That's a balance.
Because I'm also not going to throw my pearls to the swamp.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you're good.
Make me feel a little better.
You're good.
I'm like,
That's
wait a minute, am I loyal?
Because
we're
I don't
not
think
foolish.
that the Lord.
We just said that. We're not foolish. If I see that you're not going to give me, you don't have the same definition, and for you it mean kill somebody.
Right.
I almost said something. It mean hurt somebody. It mean, I could take advantage of you now.
No.
Yeah,
and
we
you
gotta
don't
cut it
deserve.
out.
Then that's a different level of loyalty.
I've been struggling even saying loyalty, so I'm like, wait a minute, do I have it?
Loyalty.
Like, okay.
This not covenant.
Right.
Guess what? It's not even covenant. Oh, because you've been doing this and that. Oh,
because covenant is two
I
ways.
thought we was in covenant, but we not in covenant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I don't, like you said, when you loyal to yourself, you have the ability to not be a fool. You have the ability to cut it off. You have the ability to say, this not good for me.
Yeah.
There's no
She's
balance
basically saying
here.
loving yourself. When you say loyal to yourself, I love myself enough to...
And I mean to a point to where it's destroying you, because I'm not unwilling to be in a relationship to where sometimes I suffer a little bit of wrong. I'm okay with that. Like, if somebody, when you're in a relationship and your husband comes in and he has a bad attitude, I'm not going to go off and leave him over that.
Right.
I'm the type, I'm going to give you a moment. Because you might,
because you'll need the moment later.
Right, because I'll need a moment later.
You'll need the moment later.
So I have that. What I don't have is if you're abusive toward me, jealous toward me, and it's hurting me, and I'm not going to formulate a plan to be able to receive your badness toward me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like, well, let me be more so when he's like this, I can be. No. I don't have that. So it's like, if that's how you consistently are, I'm not going to adjust to it. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to adjust to it. I'm going to cut off my loyalty to you.
Yeah, because after a while, when you see what it really is,
Exactly.
because you're not going
Once
to
I
assume
see
the
it.
word. Yeah, I mean, you're working through it. You're trying.
Yeah.
Let's get
Counseling.
some talking. Let's talk to
I do all
counselors. Let's go to a therapist, or let's see let's work this through. So I feel like in covenant, that loyalty will extend longer than probably friends or whatever, because it's like, no, let me see what this really is, because I know I didn't just marry you based on nothing. It took me a minute to decide this.
So what got me here?
Let's see what's really going on. What's going. And then after you have gone through that process and you see it is what it is, and somebody else can see what it is, and you see more than other people see.
Right.
You make a decision based on your life.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily just loyal to yourself, your love for. It's like I will live and not die.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm not going to allow that type of abuse. This is not covenant. This is not what God had in mind.
Yeah.
This is not
It's
what
not
I
how
had
much he
in mind
loved me.
when I said this at the altar. No, that's not
and then
that.
people be fooling themselves, because it's like you have to think about, my loyalty to me is loyalty to my purpose. Like, I have a purpose. And there are a lot of people walking around and they're acting like, oh, I'm just suffering for Jesus, blah, blah. But your purpose isn't being fulfilled. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. You're suffering for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, because when you suffer for God, there's a reason. Progress. You suffer, you learn and grow. But if you have a bunch of us as Christians walking around suffering and there's no growth, there's no process, you just suffering, honey, that ain't God.
Yeah, that's in
in
Matthew.
vain.
God has a purpose in your suffering. He'll cause it to work out for your good,
Yes,
even when
absolutely.
you get yourself stuck.
Yeah, and it talks about that in Matthew. Like, that
what's my
persecution
ticket,
is not for Christ. That persecution is something else. There's some evil coming against you.
So you loyal. You loyal to something,
but it
that ain't working out. Yeah, it ain't this.
It ain't him.
What are you really loyal to? And even when it comes to church loyalty, and we might have to talk about it, like sometimes it's just loyalty to the pastor,
To the person,
Which turns into idolatry.
which is idolatry. Yeah, you're addicted
You can
to.
start off as loyal to the pastor, but then it creeps up into idolatry.
Your loyalty should be to Christ.
Absolutely. Period.
Your loyalty should
and
be
it's
to Christ.
reflected in
In them, yes, in their servants.
Yeah.
And it's a servant leadership position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're there to serve, and it's funny I'm talking about this now as we're about to go into that, but it's a servant position. I'm there to help you, to push you to where God wants you to be. Yeah,
Right.
and He's allowing me to see more than the average Joe about you, because I'm to push you toward what He has for you to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not to take advantage of you. It's not to take advantage of you. It's to push you.
Yeah.
And we love, what do you call it? When somebody, let me tell you what it really is. We love charisma. We love the entertainment of it. We love, yes, we love how you cut up, and I'm gonna be there to, and we love just community sometimes, which community is amazing. Community is great. That is one reason we should get together for community.
The love and acceptance. That
Yeah,
we get from
absolutely.
And sometimes people get caught up.
Yeah, they get caught up, and because it's no Christ there and it's no community, and if you needed help, could you get help?
Yeah.
Right.
But again, I digress, because we could go to it.
Oh, I just thought of another subject while we talking about it, but we're not going to say that on the app. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, through this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So then, women friendships,
Oh,
loyalty to women friendships.
I struggle with that. It took me a long time because we talked about healing, right? Because I had mommy issues. It was really hard for me to trust, right, women.
And you wrote a book about it.
I'm writing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was trying to plug you, so I'll plug you. I'll plug you when the time comes again.
Yes, I'm writing. And being the only girl with nothing but boys, I couldn't relate to women. I couldn't relate to the softness, because softness was weakness to me. I couldn't relate to, meekness, because that was weakness to me. I couldn't relate to none of that. And it wasn't until I got older and the right relationship cultivated that I was able to fall into the softness, into the meekness.
Okay, soft life.
And I still get, my feathers still kind of get ripped up, and he just come and pluck them and like, baby, digress. You safe.
Yeah.
Right? So I said all that to say that for me, I had female friendships or whatever, but I know they were more loyal to me than I were to them because of the trust issues that I had. And, and then when I did try, then I find out that the person was jealous of me. And I'm trying to figure out why you jealous of me, because I have I'm out here struggling. I'm 16 trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, a dime and a nickel. And I'm trying to figure out, this, that, and the other, but you jealous of me. But you're supposed to be my friend. So, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. Friendship, don't work for me. So then I noticed that my relationship with guys are the ones that were cultivated. They were the ones that were purposeful. And I'm not talking about guys that was trying to sleep with me. I'm talking about strictly platonic relationships that if anything, I was trying to keep them from sleeping with the little female friends I had.
It's so easy to make friends with guys.
But it's funny because all my female friends, I'd be like, stay away. And then I tell they sneaking around, and now you mad at me. Now you mad at me because I told you to stay away from him. But I said all that to say that for me, it wasn't until I got older that I started to be able to develop friendship, be loyal to my relationship with women, to be supportive, to serve. And it took me a while.
I'm sorry, y'all. I still,
Where's she from?
with this loyalty, I still will give you a clean slate. When I'm first meeting somebody, I'm going to still give a clean slate. And I think you can only do that when you've been healed, back to what you're saying. But I give a person a clean slate because I know past. I know how it is to have a past. I've been, you know what I'm saying? I've been in enough relationships to know, everybody does have a past. Now, I'm going to add this. I feel like it's certain things that I do need to know about certain women because some stuff don't seem to change. Like, for example, speaking of loyalty, like if a woman or a close friend, we're going to keep it at close friends. If a close friend can date who you dated, for me, if you're the type of woman that does that, I've learned that you're probably not going to be a type of woman that I'm going to be able to be loyal, my kind of loyal to, because I am loyal.
It's called boundaries.
I just feel like sometimes women can learn from that, but if you don't see a problem with that, I feel like if you're in a woman friendship and you can date people I've dated or had serious relationships, I'm not talking about even just kind of talking or wondering, or even if I like somebody. This is, of course, if you sing, I like somebody, I'm interested, and you haven't made the move, but then a friend of yours, a close friend of yours, can come up behind you and then go there. I feel like it's something special about that person.
So I don't want to digress, but
no, that's loyal. I want to think that's loyal.
I want to say this, and then we perhaps on another show we could get into the totality of it. But first of all, I want to say I also feel that way. However, I question it because of my journey to discovering why I feel the way I feel. Because I would be totally offended if it don't even have to be anybody I'm close to. If somebody that we cool and we've been to brunch, and then all of a sudden I see you with my ex-husband, okay? I wouldn't like that. But why? We're done.
True.
And so I don't have an answer for that yet.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. I haven't gone to where I'd be like, girl, gone. But if we're done, no more covenant, I have no more feelings, what does it matter if they're together? And so I don't have an answer for that.
Because you know what? No, even though y'all done, there's still residual in the sense of, no.
It ain't supposed to be.
With a person that's your close friend.
Okay.
Or even if it's blossoming and it's moving towards something, right?
Okay.
Why would you want to pick up where I've left off when you've seen...
How's it picking up where you left off?
That is true.
Men are different with different women.
Think. I have to,
yeah, and that's what's
I have to
messing
think
my
this
mind
through.
up because I'm like, if it's done, there's no more feelings. I've healed or I'm healing, and I'm talking about what's supposed to be.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to be still connected to an ex in any kind of way. If they're ex and meant
If
to be
they're
ex.
it's supposed to,
Right.
yes.
Everything nipped. Your relationship with your friend is totally different. It's outside.
But
you
why
don't
are you
even
so
have to
curious?
hear about their relationship. Why would it bother me? Even if she didn't tell me, simply knowing that they're together, I would be wondering, so did they go out? Was she late because she was with him? You know, it would prompt
true.
that in me. But
that's
why?
challenging. That's very challenging.
And that's why I didn't want to get in because we could spend a whole segment on that.
Because baby, my wheels are turning
We're
over
talking
here.
about loyalty.
Yeah,
I mean,
so that's a part of
that's
it.
one of my
Let me ask you this: would she still be your friend?
She should be able to. If I'm not seeing an issue, she should be able to. But in reality, again, this is me trying to understand my feelings because I do have those feelings. If it were actual, like if you ended up with my ex, I wouldn't be able to, not as close as we were, because I would be feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
But why?
I don't know.
Because your loyalty is to me, and that's my. No, I'm just saying. Why would you want my sloppy seconds? Okay, I
feel the same way.
My friend. You're my friend. I ain't finna sit up here. I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, so tell me this then.
Let's talk it out.
How is her? And I need you to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
How is her? If she's still loving, kind, she's still the friend.
I have one thing.
She's still the friend she is to you. Her friendship toward you has not changed. So how does her relationship with your ex betray you? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Can I tell you? I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry. I know.
No,
you're trying to
I'm
get
right.
over here.
I just have
So
one.
my thing is this. Okay, so as my girlfriend, right? We talk about the ins and the out, right?
Okay.
And as a married woman,
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, so tell me
friend, did you talk to me?
Okay, keep in mind, I feel this way about somebody I've been to brunch with.
Mm-hmm.
So say, for instance, I had not told her about all my marriage. Say, for instance, I didn't confide her. We just good. Like, we good. Because say, for instance, it's not a close friend. Because I don't know about you, but I feel the same way about somebody I just went to brunch with. Okay. And that we just every now and then.
So if it's not a close friend,
and you did not confide in her,
okay,
I would still be like, you know that's my ex, but why?
Okay.
Well, you know what?
But what if it was a close friend?
I mean, if
you
it
talked
was
to her
a
about
close
it.
Now,
friend,
I would feel some kind of way, like while I was talking to you, were you plotting? I would feel that way.
I'm trying to say.
I would feel that.
I would feel that as a close friend. Like,
would you feel that way about
taking notes when I was telling you about this or whatever?
Right.
Now, if it's somebody
that would make her have the upper hand because you already had a cliff notes on how to handle my man.
And know when to come in.
Well, not my man no more. Maybe that's the issue. I still see him as my man. That's the issue. But my ex.
I don't know. No, because I don't.
Anything I left behind, you can have it. I can tell you it ain't no good to
I don't think that's the case. You don't have to see the ex as still your man to think that. Heck no.
I just think like you're supposed to be my friend and we have some sense of loyalty, right?
Okay.
So I'm just trying to figure out. I'm not trying to make you choose,
right?
But what's more important to you?
So say for instance, you and I just met today, right? That's true. We just met today. So and we start doing this podcast, and sometimes we go out to eat after, and then I meet your ex.
Which one?
Which one was your favorite? That's messy. That's messy. That was messy. Don't answer that.
My favorite. I got my favorite, but he not no ex. Okay. But I got my favorite.
Okay, so we're women. Okay, so we're women. Say for instance, it was the one that took you through the most stuff. And then all of a sudden, I'm dead. Would you be able to be my friend?
I would be your friend. You know why? Because baby, you gonna need
no clue.
me.
But seriously, would you feel some kind of way?
I'm leaving right there.
Okay,
you.
Wait a minute. Oh, and here's the deal.
Because if you ever show that real what I saw, baby.
Okay, but men are different. We're different women. Say, for instance, he's grown. and I just bring out
Are
something
they
and
though?
say he's
Are they though?
say he's okay. Let's pretend for this part.
Because in the
Let's just
beginning,
pretend.
but that
so
realness
say for
go
instance,
show.
he's good to me.
Then you know what? My head go off to you. You know
Okay.
why?
Yeah.
Because one thing I do realize in relationships, everybody don't bring out the best in everybody.
Yeah.
That's true.
And he may have grown. Maybe it took losing me
Yeah.
in order for him
Yeah.
to be better.
Yeah.
And if he good to you, cool. I just don't want to hear about it.
Yeah. So
Because if they're real, and
that's
I really hope he has changed.
Right.
okay. So let me tell you. Okay, so that brings up why it would be an issue, because if you and him are done,
Mm-hmm.
would it rub you the wrong way a little bit if I was like, girl, he just sent me flowers and you had been asking him to send you flowers for years? Is that why you wouldn't want to hear? Because it would be like, it would bring up feelings that you didn't need to be revisiting?
I don't think it will bring up feelings or whatever. I just think just out of respect for the fact that is my ex.
Okay.
I don't talk about my past and I don't want to really know nothing about my past.
Gotcha.
And they are ex for a reason.
Yeah.
So I just really don't want to talk
And I
about
would question a friend that wanted to talk to me about it.
Right, because
I'd be like, why you want to talk to me about you
Right.
and my ex? You know,
right.
so,
I don't want to talk about it. I'm indifferent, but I don't want to talk about it. You know, because that's my past. That's your present.
Yeah.
But that's my past.
Yeah.
And I don't make it a habit to bring my past into my present.
So
And if
you
y'all
would
would
be
continue in a friendship, that would be a boundary
That
she
would be
would
a-
have
right.
that you can't talk to her about that. You shouldn't have to say that,
Right.
but there would be a boundary.
Yeah.
So you would be okay with somebody like who's not a close best friend. Would you be okay with somebody who's not a close best friend?
I would, because you have no clue. You have no idea.
You don't need her.
Yeah. You have no idea what I went through with this person, and if you did meet him or whatever after, I'm sure it was random. You know, I'm gonna assume it was random, and you have no clue what I went through. But like Miyosh said, you probably would need my prayers, but they are so good. Like you said, men are different with different women. They are so good at that, that they could just change into somebody else. But eventually, who they really are, it's going to come out. And if it doesn't, maybe they have changed, which is what I already was praying for. But baby, if you ever had it like me, the truth will be told.
In some cases, I wonder if it's a change or you know, you said it too, just bringing out something different in a woman bringing out something different in them. Because, you know, we have different friends that bring out different parts of our personalities. Or say, for instance, if you have a problem with cussing, and then around you, I may not, but then...
With Miyoshi, it'd be,
Baby, it'll be Cuss Fest 2025.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
That's a good
different
point.
friends, you know, because you
That's a good
relate to
point.
people in different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, and this is not definitive, because
I feel
men really, I'm trying to understand them.
Yeah.
So is it possible that they just bring out different things? Some women have different standards. Like me, I'm not a woman who will bring out in a man that make them get a second job because they got to support me, because I'm not materialistic. But if
Right.
they get with a girl who's used to certain things, they going to work 2 and 3 jobs to keep her if they want her. That's the way he wouldn't do that for me, because I don't bring that out.
Right. I don't require that.
I don't require it, so he's not going to do it. So
are we talking about bringing a personality out of a person that's not there, or are we talking about habit and cultivating atmosphere? Because first of all, we don't need to be double-minded, okay? If you're yourself, you need to be yourself. If people bringing out other things, what is that really?
because like, okay, say for instance, because at my job, I'm not funny, Quinn. I don't laugh and play with them people. But around my friends,
Because you're free.
They bring-
so
right.
you are funny, Quinn. You just put a boundary on yourself when you're at work.
So I'm saying, is that possible with men?
I think with some, and that's when it's their representative. But the way that you
So then
presented
it's not the person. We talking about the real person.
was she in
You
her
can
point,
cultivate a positive atmosphere,
right?
Or you can cultivate where they can give their best and do their best, and even with that, they still gonna do you depending on who they are.
Right.
But okay, go ahead.
I think when Quinn said it, she said that, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Quinn said that when the guy have evolved and changed.
Okay, now,
And so she's experiencing the new him.
Because he done learned from losing her.
okay, so then that's different. So if you have changed now, because I've been like, you have to tell me, because I know there are some people that are amazing actors and actresses. They can get an Emmy Award or Oscar based on their personalities. And they'll flip in and flip out. So if you ain't been with nobody crazy, then that ain't nothing for you.
Okay, so let me give you this small example.
But if you have changed.
Okay, say for instance, I'm with her ex now. When they were together, she'd be like, you ain't take the trash out. And I'm going to do it when I do it. And he walk off. With me, I'm like, oh, baby, you didn't take, baby, I can't put anything else in the trash because maybe I do it a different way. You know, baby, I can't put anything else in the trash because I take it out right away. Okay, I'm talking about that kind of stuff. So
it really wasn't.
So is it a representative because he chose to take it out for me, and
or is it a response because I was hard and she
right, and he realized he lost her over that trash.
That's what you have to figure out. Okay, is this person like this?
Yeah,
or is it based on situation, circumstance, tone and tenor, or the atmosphere?
Because I think everybody got a representative that they keep.
Everybody have a representative.
Because you're not gonna get. I gotta scope you out first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even when you and your husband get into it and you try not to go off, their representative, they call it the HR. You start sounding like HR. You don't get a representative then? Oh, okay, well, we can discuss it. Like when you try not to go off,
how to pull
it's
yourself.
A representative because you're not showing how you did.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we don't got
If the person has changed.
Yeah.
If the person has changed, then have at it.
Yeah.
Do what you do. Have a lovely life. I don't wish no harm on nobody. Believe me be. And let me do my best to do the same thing.
So would that be a boundary too with you like her? Like that I don't talk to you about?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
why would I want to know that?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even want to know that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. And so many different variables that can go in and out that will change the answer to a situation. So depending on what it is.
But I think most women feel like they do not want to see their friend with an ex. And if they chose to be with their friend's ex, I think they expect to feel
like that level of loyalty.
Yeah, I think they expect for the friend to feel betrayed. I think they do.
Yeah.
I think we can agree in general.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can feel.
Okay, what about friends? What about if your close friend became friends with a friend you're no longer with?
I'm okay with that if, because there's a certain way I see that because I've been in that situation to where one of my friends felt like I couldn't be friends with somebody that didn't like her. But the issue was I saw both sides and both of them were wrong. I think in that case, somebody can be in the middle, but in the case to where it's a character flaw, like, you know, this girl is a liar and she lied on your other friend and you still choose to be, I wouldn't be comfortable with that situation. No, I couldn't be friends with somebody who was friends with somebody that did me wrong and it wasn't a personality thing. It was obvious. Like if she slept with my husband or something like that, you know, if I had
That's so good.
Yeah, so it's situational for me.
That's good.
Yeah. And in my case, it was even, really I shouldn't have been friends with neither one of them because the reason I was able to be friends with both of them because neither one of them were loyal to me. So I was able to be cool like both of y'all wrong. So I'm not going to stop talking to either one of you because y'all did something to each other. Y'all ain't loyal to me either. So I was able, and because I didn't consider them friends in my head. They were just people I had fun with.
Look,
so
you were their friend, but they wasn't your friend.
Exactly.
See, people don't understand that. They do not understand
because I believe in, and I don't think it is using, I hate to say using people, but utilizing people. Like I used to just put people out of my life. Now, if I genuinely have fun with you, but I can't trust you around men, then I'll just go have fun with you and keep you away from my man.
Right.
So I'm learning to kind of like,
yes.
And y'all might just consider me selfish. It's how it benefits me.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, I think that's using wisdom.
How will it help? Yeah.
And I like to have fun, and I know some people that are a lot of fun. You just can't trust them.
Yeah.
So I go have fun with them, and I don't trust them.
Absolutely.
Like you,
beyond a certain beyond a certain
they
point.
stay right there.
Yeah,
they stay in the party box.
They showed it. Yeah. They showed themselves.
I was getting ready to say, you stay over this side of my life, and you stay away from here.
Yeah.
Like I may see you at work, but you're not gonna be at my house.
Yeah.
I may see you at church, but you're not going to be at my house.
Yeah.
I may see you at the mall. We may shop. We may eat. We may brunch, whatever, but you won't be at my house.
Yeah,
Because my
exactly.
house is my real life.
And that's your peace. Too.
And that's my peace. And
People don't
it's something to be
understand the
said when you
importance
can
of
walk in my
protecting your
home.
house and not letting anybody come in and out your house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like. It's just certain. I'm like you. It's just certain areas. I compartmentalize. So everybody have a compartment. Okay, so that's how you act. Okay, well you gonna go right there. That's how you act. Okay, well you go right there. Okay, so do you I compartmentalize.
They pretty much
and
don't
I
move.
treat you accordingly.
Exactly.
And I respect you. I treat you accordingly. You might not like it.
Yeah.
But I just recently, like about 2 years ago, learned, because my mom used to always say, you use that term friend too loosely. So then I was like, you know what, you're right. Then I'll be using the term associate too loosely because some people just don't have a title, right? And so then it was recently here I learned that, oh, I'm your friend, but you ain't my friend. You know, I'ma always be a friend because my moral compass tell me to show
your
myself
character.
friendly. But you're not my friend because see, my friend is a confidant.
Yeah.
My friend is a safe place. My friend is loyal.
See, that's my
friend
definition
has
as well.
My friend, we have purposeful relationship. We moving in a direction. You boo-boo kitty, I just pour out some wisdom to you.
But some people have a habit of having frenemies close to them, and I'm telling y'all now that's dangerous.
Oh, it
That's
is because this is the thing.
How is it dangerous?
Oh,
Because of their potential.
Yeah,
Yes.
because they're only your space to gather data.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're gathering data.
Yeah.
And then they're going to run when they get mad and tell whatever they gathered. That's why my grandma always told me, look, my grandma always told me, baby, a dog that bring a bone, carry a bone. So I learned if I just really want a bone to go out there, I know where to put it because you going to go carry it. And I always made it work for me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Me and
so
my
what did
son
you
watched Mufasa just last
Oh
night.
my God, I love that
Yesterday
movie.
or the night before. And at the end where I don't know if it was his mom, told him, you need to banish him. And he said, no, he'll always be welcome him. He ended up being the death of him. Because he should have got rid of him.
You don't talk about
he
my
left
brother.
the enemy in his, no, my brother. You should have got rid of your brother. But it's the same. That's what I think about when having frenemies in your close space. Because why would you? If you know somebody not good for you, why would you?
Why would you?
Why would you want somebody
That's
who
playing
you know
in
with
the enemy's.
backstab?
That's playing in the enemy's territory.
It is, and it's like you said. You're giving them data. What else are some things that you're doing? You're giving them data. You're teaching them how to do you so that they can have the upper
They learn your
hand.
patterns.
Your plans, your dreams.
Monitoring spirits.
Yeah.
Your plans and dreams. So that they could turn around and mimic.
Yeah.
Because one thing I wanted to say earlier when we were talking about loyalty and as it relates to loyalty in women and friendships, sometimes what looks like loyalty is actually sabotage. Because have you ever seen two friends together that they were horrible and you knew one had the potential to be better and you saw that other one intentionally dragging that other one down? But that girl that you want to warm, no, she loyal to me. No, she not.
Right.
That's not loyal. She bringing you down. In her she being loyal to everything that destroys you and your purpose.
My goodness.
She not loyal, but it looks like loyalty to
it.
her.
Because of her distorted thinking.
Yeah, but it's not.
And that's going to be the thing that's going to be the lesson she learns from.
Yeah.
And then she'll turn around and have to give that wisdom.
Yeah.
But she just don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to learn what loyalty looks like too. Yeah.
Whew. It's so many scenarios going through my head of what has happened to me, who I'm putting names to people while y'all are saying this. And I know you guys are too. Like you have a name for that person. You've literally seen that. It's tough. It's tough out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and to balance that with God's love and keeping people where they belong and protecting yourself while knowing that God is protecting you too. But we have some action items.
Yes,
Yeah, we just
we
can't
do.
leave it all to them and go out there
Right.
blindly.
We
My
do.
mama used to say, God takes care of babies and fools, and you ain't no baby. So don't be no fool either, you know.
Right.
So we have to, you know, it's like we ain't gonna go and throw ourselves in front of a truck and say, oh, God'll save me.
Yes.
Right.
No,
Yes.
you know,
Don't
so
test
do
him.
your part.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to, you know,
We have to
kinda
use
take-
wisdom.
Yeah.
He give us the ability, and you know, I think he freely gives discernment when it is asked upon. And anybody, especially new people in my life,
Mhm.
I'm always like, okay, God, what's their purpose?
Mhm.
Not saying I'm
Yeah.
skeptical, because I'm not skeptical, but I just need to
That's
know
good
who
to
sent
ask.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who sent you?
That's wise, honey.
Yes.
And then when I figure out who sent you, I'm gonna treat you accordingly.
Mhm.
Who sent you?
Because I know that it's the enemy's dream to destroy the plans
Mhm.
that God has for my life. So he's gonna send whoever. He don't know my thoughts, but he know my patterns. He know and my patterns is part of my desires,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So because he's gathered data,
Mhm.
he'll send somebody that may play the part. But hold on, are you the part?
Mhm.
And so I have to know, like, who sent you, because my loyalty is so deep.
Mhm.
You know, I'm so loyal. When you're wrong, I'm going to tell you wrong.
Mhm.
And when you're right,
I think that's
I'ma
love.
celebrate
I
you.
think that's
what I'm
love.
about to say, baby.
Yes.
That's love.
I love that.
And don't care if you mad at me.
Mhm. It'll be all right.
It'll be
It'll
all
be
right.
all right. Cause after I tell you what I tell you, I'm gonna get some alcohol and some peroxide, and I'm gonna clean up the little wound or whatever, and say, well, come on, let's stitch it up, and
Like
we're
I
gonna
always-
speak life over it, and we're gonna move on. But you know, I'm cautious.
Mhm.
You know, because of the wisdom, because of the plans that I know that God has for my life, that I can't allow any and everybody in my life. So the first thing I want to know is who sent you.
Yeah.
When y'all were talking earlier about, you were saying about your women, your relationship with the women, and one trick I use again is when somebody and it ties into what you were saying, how you like who sent you, is I don't trust people. I trust my discernment to accept who they show me they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, that's wisdom.
So in your relationship with women and trying to trust, it ain't about trusting them. Because how they behaving now and what you trust could change. Not saying that it will. Or you could get a better perspective. So what you trust is, God, I trust the discernment that you've given me, that I will see and accept them for who they show me to be and have no expectations. Where we mess up is we have these, you're going to be loyal to me. You're going to be my best friend. You ain't going to tell my business. They ain't showing you none of that.
Right.
So the trust is in your discernment to say, I will accept whatever you show me and
that's true.
and discern the purpose that you have in my life for that, because everybody ain't your assignment. That's
Amen.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes. Guys, we've had a great show. We're going to just go into the segments right now, and we're going to start off with the echo chamber. And in the echo chamber, we share something that greatly impacted us throughout the week, and why, and in hopes that it will impact you as well. So we're just going to let Miyoshi take it away for the echo chamber on today on loyalty.
I ran across this, and I think it actually sums up what we just spoke about. Loyalty cannot be blueprinted. It cannot be produced on an assembly line. In fact, it cannot be manufactured at all. For its origin is the human heart, the center of self-respect and human dignity. It is a force which leaps into being only when conditions are exactly right for it. And it is a force. And the source is Maurice R. Franks.
That's great.
That's good.
That's good. That's good. And now we're going to go into the truth segment. And you know, everyone has their own perspective, opinion, and vantage point, but there's only one truth. So let's get into it. And today I just pulled 3 scriptures that has to do with loyalty that I feel. And I'm just going to leave these with you so that you can, you know, just study them on your own and get an interpretation and exegete as you will. The first one is John 15:13. It says, greater love has no one than this, that someone laid down his life for his friends. Proverbs 18:24 says, A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And finally, Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. That's definitely one you'll have to go back over to pull out the interpretation of that. But definitely I encourage you to look at those scriptures and apply them to your life. And in closing, guys, do you guys want to say something in closing about this loyalty that we spoke about? Are we good? I feel like we've exhausted ourselves.
Yeah, I think just find balance with your loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, find balance with your loyalty. I'm so glad that you were here with us today. And remember, God created you as a solution and a blessing. So please step into that role with boldness and clarity. See you guys next time. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Bye.